Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farm, and today I've got two goals. First, I want to make some progress on restoring this antique Haywagon. Second, I want to show my appreciation to my consistent and long-term viewers who make it possible for me to do what I do. So in terms of the Haywagon, first thing I need to do is get these remaining boards off, then jack the wagon up, get some supports under it, remove the wheels, and then get started removing this paint and rust, because I want to restore this to look like it originally did when it came off the factory. As far as the viewers, I spent a few hours this morning going through all the comments on YouTube and Facebook, finding my regulars that I've been seeing in the comments for a long time, and I've saved a bunch of your comments and I'm going to read those throughout the video. So, should be a lot of fun. Let's get started. I almost forgot, I also have one of my long-term viewers that I've actually talked to on the phone a couple times, has a problem with his tractor and he's asking me for advice, and I don't know what to tell him. So I thought I would read his email here too and tell the story of the problem he's having with his late model tractor and the hydraulics, and see if any of you guys have any more information. Looks like one of these is already busted off. The only thing I've done to this Haywagon so far is replace the tires. So these are brand new tires, or brand new a year ago, and I've hardly used them, so they've still got all the rubber feelers on them. I remember when I put these on, there was at least one of these where some of the threads were messed up. I couldn't get all the bolts in, so we'll see if we can fix that too. We may have to soak all this and run a tap through them and get it worked out. All I'm doing right now is just breaking them loose, so it'll be easier to take them off once the wagon's up in the air. I have had a lot of comments telling me not to use concrete blocks to support a lot of weight. This really isn't that heavy, and they are actually turned the right way, I believe. So that should work well, but I'm going to go ahead and put my 4 jack stands under this center beam. So if we did have some kind of an issue with the blocks, we've got a secondary support. That ain't going nowhere. Before we move on, let's read some of these comments. Disclaimer here, there's probably at least 200 or 300 of you that are longtime commenters, and I always look forward to your comments and see what you have to say. And there's no way I could find everybody's comment, but I'm going to read a bunch of them. First comment, John Gersna. That's another caveat. I'm going to mispronounce everybody's name. Names are hard. I'm really bad at remembering details and pronouncing names. So, John Gersna, hey Brock, I noticed there aren't any skids on the end of the plow. A set of adjustable skids would go a long way to help keep from tearing into the gravel. I also plow from the outside edges first. That will give you a lot more leeway to move the rest of the snow from the middle. That may have been how you did it, but I couldn't tell from the video. That was on my snow plowing video. That's an interesting point. I was starting in the middle and pushing out, and the downside to that is your piles can get so high you can barely push them. Or if you started on the outside first, it feels like each pass would be easier, but you'd have to make more passes. I do have some adjustable skid plates under. It's not exactly the same as what you think of like an edge tamer or something with that shape. It's like a round cup that goes just behind the blade, and you can adjust those up and down. So, John's been around a long time on the channel. I appreciate you, my friend. Dust Devil. Dust Devil comments on everything. And, you know, most of the people who comment all the time have something insightful to say a lot. But I also notice they'll just give me a thumbs up or good job or something. And I think that's because some of you probably understand the way this works. When you comment on a video or you hit the like button, that tells YouTube that you like the video. And they register that information and decide, should we show this to other people? So leaving a comment that's just a thumb, that helps me. So I appreciate it. Dust Devil, I freeze all winter with electric heat. There's nothing like the heat of a wood-fired stove. The picture of the fire helped me a little bit. I'm glad you could feel that warmth coming through the screen, but the warmth you felt might not have been from the fire. It might have been straight from my heart. Hard to say, could have been either. Next we have Donald Stryshock. Stryshock? I don't know. Longtime commenter, usually has something interesting to say. He's commenting on a video that's one of my first videos from 2.5 years ago. It's about time you got a snazzy John Deere jacket. You must be in their pocket now. Probably a new tractor is on its way. Yeah, I bought what looked like a really nice John Deere leather jacket like a week after I got my tractor. It wasn't leather. It was cheap Chinese crap. I loved the way it looked. I wore it in all my videos for the first 3 months until the sides ripped out and all the seams fell apart. But I definitely am not on the payroll for John Deere, and they have given me nothing. Big Sway. Here's the big one. Big Sway 44. I asked him what that means, because that sounds like a baller nickname for like a guy who watches tractor videos. Big Sway used to have like a lifted Jeep or Bronco or something, I don't remember exactly, that rode on 44s, and he was pretty proud of that hopped up mudding vehicle. I don't remember the whole story. He told me about it a while ago. I'm going to read Big Sway's comment here. I don't remember what he said, but Big Sway is like in Rocky 2, where Apollo wanted Rocky to fight again, and he was calling him out like, come on, come on. That's where me and Big Sway are. I've been calling him out because he says he wants to make a video with me, but he won't actually do it. So it's kind of like Rocky 2 right now. We don't know yet who's going to win this, but he likes to stir the pot. I think this is the first time we've been in your house for a video since you hurt your back. I can't tell you what that comment says to me, because back when I first started, I've been doing this 2.5 years. About 2 years ago, I hurt my back. And I hurt my back, like once every 6 months, I'll pick something up and go, oh, that did it. And then the next week or the next month, I'll have back pain and kind of limp around with it and try to take it easy. But nothing, nothing, everybody has back pain, right? But that one time, right after I started doing this, I couldn't stand up. I thought I might have had a serious back injury and was going to need surgery or something. I couldn't walk for a week, and I did a video sitting on my couch because I couldn't get up. And I was basically like, hey guys, just letting you know, I may not have any videos for a while because I hurt myself. And he remembered that from all the way back when I first started. I see you've added a life-size caricature of yourself. Yeah, there's a 4-foot-tall talking Grinch in the background of my wood stove video. Wife is a fan of the Grinch, and the grandkids are equally in love with and terrified of that talking Grinch. I wish you could see the wood stove I built for my shop. It's almost 4 feet around and 4 feet deep. I added vortex generating heat exchangers. Here it is again, like shucking and jiving. He's telling me he's got something. He wants me to see it. I'm ready, like, let's get in the ring. But I don't know if it's gonna happen. I want you, Big Sway. All right, before I go on, let's get the tires off this Haywagon. Woo, dog, looks like it's gonna work. Of course, I said that out loud. Now the next wheel will give me problems. Oh, yeah. All right, experts, what am I looking for? We got just a little bit of wiggle this way. Spins pretty free. No noise. Probably be another video where I go into checking out these bearings. Well, we got one. We got two. Two left that don't want to cooperate. Boy, if I had a Milwaukee tool. Let's not start on that debate. Had to call in the big shot. Big shot, PB Blaster. How long does it take that stuff to work? Patience is not my strong suit. Well, while we got time, let's read the can. #1 selling penetrant. Breaks free rusted frozen parts, protects against further rust and corrosion, attacks rust from all angles using our unique capillary action. Capillary. Anything that is rusted or corroded, stuck or frozen, used in automotive, industrial, marine, agricultural, and other operations. Bonus, PB does not evaporate. It leaves a lubricating film on parts to prevent rust and corrosion. Convinced me. Wow! It doesn't take any time at all. That's like instant. Was not the idea of today's video, but as a little bonus, if any of the other ones won't come off, we'll see if any other brand works that quick. Because I just happens to have a few different types of penetrating oil. The little bit of movement that one had, I don't feel in this one. But it's a little bit stiffer. I don't know if that's good or bad, just a little bit tighter. Well, we're making more progress on the wagon than we are the comments, so let's read a few more of those. Marvin Diamond Jr. One of my favorites. I think he has a 3046, lives way up north, Minnesota, something like that. Bad with details. I get the general idea, but details are not my thing. I've got a freestanding wood stove on a 1-foot riser in my living room. By putting a box fan in the hallway to the bedrooms, I can push the cold air along the floor back towards the wood stove, and the hot air moves along the ceiling back to the bedrooms. That way I can heat the whole house. The nice part of it is that it's perfectly sized to heat at recommended maximum, so I get minimal buildup in my stovepipe. The stove is also equipped with a catalytic converter. Been using it with no complaints since 1999, and the wood heat is probably the most comfortable heat you can get. My audience is mostly older than me, and I take that as a major compliment that people who've been around and seen it still find me interesting enough to watch. That's why so many of you guys seem to know more than me. We know a few things because we've seen a few things. Steve Erickson, this was on my Why Don't You Get a Real Tractor video. Everybody wants to make fun of me for having a small tractor. This is just the nature of the internet. It's just, you just assume everyone else is an idiot and you want to make sure they know how smart you are. That's okay. I do that sometimes. Steve Erickson, in my view, anything with hydraulics and attachments is a tractor. You're darn right. That includes the Ventrac and other tractors like that. A mower is good for mowing the finished lawns and pulling light garden tractors. I've got a 2017 John Deere 4052 cab. I love the tractor, but at times I could use a smaller tractor with better sightline. I choose not to put the backhoe on and will replace my skid steer and possibly add a Mini X. I thought when I got the skid steer all the little tractor comments would end. No, I started getting guys who like skid steers, and they're all commenting, why don't you get a real skid steer? Like the 10,000 pound, 75 horsepower, $80,000 machine I have as a toy. And then, oh, you know, a real man would use a bulldozer. Well, I don't have one, so probably won't be getting a bulldozer. Now this one moves in and out a little more. Spins pretty free. But thank you, Steven Erickson, for leaving comments on my videos. Frank Drahos. Drahos. I don't know. Hey Brock, we've been burning with a Quadrafire insert for over 20 years. Non-catalytic reburn technology that really has treated us well for all these years. Thanks for your education on the catalytic type. Yeah, I watched every video I could find. Normally, I take the knowledge I have, read the comments on my videos for education, then I do as much research as I can before I talk about something. And I just presented the catalytic combustion units that you can get in the modern stoves. There's another type of reburn unit. It introduces oxygen above the fire and causes that reignition up higher. I believe that's what he's talking about. Those look like a good option too. And I appreciate you, Frank, for leaving comments. Mark Dulio, thank you for putting out this video. I have a fireplace and was thinking about this idea. The only drawback is the cost to do this type of heating, but on the other hand, oil prices are going out of sight, so it may now become a reality. Yeah, there's nothing cheap anywhere. It feels like prices on firewood haven't escalated as quickly as prices on other types of heat, but if you value your time, whenever I do work for people, everyone says value your time. You know, the time you spend setting up, the time you spend driving, everything, not just the time working on the job. And it's the same thing. If you're going to say you saved money heating with wood heat, make sure you factor in the time. My time's worth $12 an hour. My time's worth $40 an hour. Whatever you think your time's worth. And factor that in. Now, if you love splitting wood and managing a fire, I don't know that you have to factor that in anymore. So, just a different way to look at it. But I think if you've got the setup and the opportunity and the access to the wood, it's going to be your most cost effective. All right, last one. right, these suckers do not want to come off. So we're getting a little bonus content and testing out another type of penetrating oil. Speaking of viewers, one of my viewers who is already commenting on the channel for a while told me he makes and sells this product. It's his product, Rust Patrol. So I've been using it a lot. But it's hard for me to say Rust Patrol's the best. You got WD-40, PB Blaster, they've been around a long time. I don't want to recommend something just because it's a viewer of the channel. But I sure want to give them a chance, and if this product continues to work the way it has so far, you're going to hear me promoting Rust Patrol. Now this product I think of more as a protector and lubricant than I do as a penetrating oil, but it's supposed to do both. So we'll just give this a couple minutes and test it like we did the other. Instead of reading the can, this time I think we'll do a few more of your comments. Old Iron Acres. You get so much out of that tractor. Great to go back and see all those projects again. Nice job, Brock. Question, with all the implements you have, are there any that you thought you must have and then it turns out you never use them, like maybe the wood chipper? Or would you want to trade a group of them in to exchange on something like an excavator? Maybe that would make a good video. I struggle with wanting every attachment, but not having the funds to get them all. I tell you what, I'm right there with you. People seem to think I'm rich. I'm not. I've got some stuff that's completely different. The wood chipper is overrated. Everything else I pretty much use. Some of the skid steer stuff I haven't used as much, but I think I will. But on the tractor, I don't use the landscape rake that much, or the harrow, but I think they have good uses. I just haven't made the time to use them that much. But it's a great question, and I might end up making a video about that. I would love to have a mini excavator. Today, I'd be tempted to trade the skid loader for it, because some of my needs have changed since I bought them. But here's what it is. I'm blessed to have so much nice equipment. Now, let's see if these want to come off. So that was not a scientific test. Because the exact condition of the two wheels could have been different. And both products worked, so there's no winner. But Rust Patrol has worked on everything I've tried so far. I'll put a link in the description if you want to try Rust Patrol out. It's a competitor for WD-40. The owner tells me that there's 100 ways Rust Patrol is better than WD-40. I'm just testing it over time. This one feels really tight. Spins a little bit stiffer. Next comment is from Todd Humphreys. On here it just says T. Humphreys, but I know there are 3 Todds who regularly watch my videos and comment because they were talking to each other in one comment a long time ago. Says, I like the air vents on that unit. You could tune the house temperature very well with those. Obviously talking about the fireplace again. I grew up with an Ashley wood heater in our living room, and there's nothing like coming in from the cold and standing by a wood heater. Absolutely right. And having a completely sealed fireplace insert with adjustable air intakes really does let you control how hot your fire is. You can put your fire out, you can cool it off, or you can stoke it without ever opening the door. Very nice feature. Gene Williams. Gene has a lot of experience running a lot of equipment, and he's got a whole bunch of tractors. He's listed them off for me before. Thinking maybe Tennessee? He had something that I was almost interested enough I made the drive down for one time. Wow, this brought back a ton of memories from my childhood. Every Christmas my grandfather would burn all the boxes and wrapping paper in the fireplace. And of course catch the clay tile flue on fire. And he's got the 3 laughing face guys on there. The best part was that he was the chief of the volunteer fire department, but he did have the cleanest flue in the county. The moisture content is extremely important, as you indicate. Great content and very in-depth video. When you're young, you don't know, and the I don't know how old your grandpa was. Probably not the youngest, but I did it. When I got the wood stove, we were buying firewood from other people. I didn't have any access to it. It's been a long 15, 17 years ago. And I'm like, well, you know, we're running out of wood. I've got this out here, this pallets and these cardboard boxes, and I would put anything that would burn in there. And then after the first winter, I learned all about the fact you can't do that. You can get away with it for a little while, but you don't want to. You want to burn nothing but dry, seasoned firewood. Preferably low sap types of wood. Hardwoods are the best. Theodore Dale, another guy who's always got something good to add to the conversation. For cold start fires, I keep the side door outside cracked and the fireplace door cracked. This tip was given to me when I had my first insert installed 10 years ago. It certainly helps create a draft on a cold flue. Keeping the door shut, the smoke would leak out the vents into the living room. Also, the cast iron insert is a bit safer if you have young kids around. Cast iron doesn't burn you immediately when it's hot, whereas the metal ones will burn you immediately. Wonder if that's, I'd never heard that. That might be true, that it doesn't get quite as hot. And anyway, good advice there on, especially if your house is really airtight, to open a window or a door near the stove to allow that draft. Because if there's no air coming into the house, then you need somewhere for that air to pull from to go out the chimney. And I've got like a cold air supply, some vents right next to it, but I don't understand how it works, so I didn't talk about it. Todd Caskey, one of the 3 Todds here. I'm still watching, and I'm hoping that you make some s'mores. Don't let me down. He's got the crazy face on there, tongue hanging out, wobbly eyeballs. I think that's Todd's favorite emoji. And like I said, most of these people are leaving a lot of good comments, but sometimes they're just saying, I'm here and I appreciate you, and I appreciate those comments. Scooter. I don't know if Scooter's been commenting a long time, but he's been commenting a lot lately. I used to have a kid working for me named Scooter. I hope this isn't him. He was kind of a character. He was a lot of fun. Very interesting restoration project, Brock. It will be great to follow along. He's talking about the Haywagon from my first Haywagon video. So hopefully you're watching, Scooter. Rod Bagley. I met Rod. There's 2 Rods that comment all the time. Rod Shepard and Rod Bagley. Rod Shepard has a new 3039R, I believe, that just got a few months ago. Rod Bagley has a 1025, and it kind of wishes he had more property so he could play more games with it, but they're all good. They're all good tractors. And he's just giving support. I just put out a YouTube short called Leave a Trigger, talking about a minor mistake I made on a tree. And you guys notice sometimes I can be a little too hard on myself for details like that. And he's encouraging. He said, is the tree down? Question mark. Did you get hurt? Question mark. Did you destroy something? Question mark. Looks to me like a successful job. Thank you for the encouragement. Hopefully I'll see you again in Louisville. Andrew Anderson. I believe he lives within an hour of me. Brock, this world is big enough for each of us to be ourselves, and we dang sure ain't gonna hurt it like the big strip mines. One of my favorite videos that nobody seems to have... Okay, so that... I'll say like nobody watched that one because it only got 1,000 views. That's 1,000 real people who took time out of their day. Like, there's a million things you could do with your day. You've got your own problems. There's all the options on TV and your kids and whatever else you got going on. You picked to spend 10 minutes watching me, and I appreciate that. I made a video that wasn't real popular about cutting down trees and about the tree huggers and the people who get mad at me for cutting down trees, and talking about the fact that I think it's important to be a good steward of your land, but a lot of times that means cutting down the older trees and leaving room for new ones. And Andrew, like he always does, is encouraging me. Frank Ashworth. Hey, Brock, in your in summary, same video he's talking about, in your in summary, you forgot to remind some of the smug observers one key takeaway is that you are, in fact, planting more trees than you've harvested. Don't worry about those who hear only that which stiffens their narrative. It's exactly right. I hardly ever mention it, and I'm going to be doing an update on it as soon as the weather warms up a little bit, but I've planted 750 Christmas trees. This channel is called Rock Hill Farms because I'm starting a Christmas tree farm. And I've had mixed results. A lot of trees died. I'm learning about the process, but I have planted 750 trees. Nature has planted another 750 trees, and I've cut down 15 or 30 or however many I've cut. Patrick Corbett, long time regular viewer. I appreciate you, Patrick. This is about salting out a tree stump. Well, we are gonna be curious how well it does. Don't forget about it. Absolutely right. I put a bunch of salt on a tree stump and buried it because the internet, far and wide across the internet, search how to naturally remove a tree stump. There'll be just a few methods. One of the popular ones is using salt, but a lot of people say it doesn't work, but there's 100 websites telling you to do it. There's also about a dozen videos or more showing somebody going out exactly like I did and putting salt on a stump. And none of those videos follow up 6 months later and a year later and show, did it really work? Is the stump gone now? The initial video like I just did has no value without the follow-up to know if it works. So trust me, I've got a series on it planned where we do the follow-up on that, we talk about it, we dig out a stump, and we do a full comparison between grinding, burning, natural decomposition, digging them out, every way there is. We're gonna get into it because I've done a lot of them. Kurt Anderson. I believe Kurt is the first person, I hope I'm not messing this up. I believe Kurt Anderson is the first person to ever recognize me when I was just out doing something random. I was at an amusement park locally with my family, and somebody flagged me down, and I'm pretty sure it was Kurt Anderson. Regardless if I'm getting the name right, he's a longtime viewer. Great video. All you're doing is taking care of your land. That's more than we can say for some people and who are just letting things go. Keep doing what you're doing and do what is best for you. Mark D. Mine should be here in a week or so. Looking forward to it. Thank you for the year review. That's on the Add-A-Grapple. That's what I was talking about a minute ago. I met the owner of a company called Precision Manufacturing. It's local. He's only a couple hours from me. I love local businesses, small business, and supporting small business. And I looked at his products. I was super impressed. I'm like, I love this stuff. I've seen it on other YouTube channels. We got to talking. He sponsored me. He provided me with the Add-A-Grapple for free. And they're Add-A-Valve, which is a third function kit. And I did a video about those products. But that video doesn't provide you much value. It lets you know it exists. And it lets you know it worked the first day. But I ran it for 9 months on a regular basis, used it a lot. The second video has value. I recommend that product. It's a lot cheaper than anything else I've ever found to add a grapple and a third function to your tractor. It's a local company, family-owned business. It's a great human being that runs it. I recommend it. So I think you're going to be happy with what you got, Mark. Carson Jensen. I've done a video with Carson. He lives about 30 minutes from me. He has a successful landscaping business. He's got a mini excavator. He's got his own YouTube channel called Thrifty Garage. And he makes videos about trucks and towing and DIY and product reviews, stuff like that. Great guy. His comment, sounds like there'll be a new brand on the channel soon. It's a possibility. Nothing's done. What I'd like to do with all this equipment is I want access to the equipment. I don't care if I own it or not, but if a company can give me access to a piece of equipment, and I can have a TYM tractor, an LS tractor, a Yanmar tractor, a Kubota tractor, Coyote, if I can have access to a machine for months at a time, I can give a real comparison between what I've used before. And I think that's valuable content for you guys. It's a lot of fun for me. So if any of these companies want to work with me, I want to work with them. But as of today, that hasn't happened. And obviously, there's also a possibility that I just buy a bigger tractor, but I've just shut down a business. And I've got the video thing. I sell some firewood. I'm planning in the spring and summer and fall to take my landscaping and excavating services up to a higher level and do a lot more frequent jobs for people. And we'll see if that justifies the profit margin to purchase a bigger machine. Bob Purs. Bob. I appreciate you watching, Bob. Right there with you, Brock. This is on my tree hugger video. I love trees also, and I don't remove any that don't need to be removed. I use every bit of the tree in one way or another. Most of my firewood comes from trees that are already down on my property. I'm sure we do more for the environment and habitat than most of the people who like to complain. I've shared the meme before. It shows a pasture with trees behind it, and it says, "This is where I live, and I'm being told to take better care of the environment by people who live here." And then you've got a picture of a big city full of smog. I don't hate people who live in a more urban area. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm just saying, if you've never lived somewhere that has trees, maybe you don't know everything about taking care of somewhere that has trees. James Hinkle. Great video, Brock. Some cool facts. Thanks for taking the time to do the research. That was on the brand comparisons. Who really makes your favorite tractor? I did spend an entire day, like 8 hours, just researching every tractor brand that I was aware of and trying to consolidate that information so that you guys can get it in a 15-minute video or a 20-minute video instead of doing that research yourself. Mike Briley. Well said, Brock. Mike's a regular viewer on YouTube and Facebook, and I believe Mike is at least 70 years old. Got that experience and knowledge I was talking about earlier, but asked me a tractor question this morning. And I want to help Mike, but I don't know how. A few years ago, I didn't know anything about a tractor or equipment. I have worked on machines my whole life, but not outdoor power equipment. So I've got some experience on turning wrenches, but I'm not a mechanic. So I'm going to read Mike's question to you guys, and hopefully Mike can watch this video and read the comments and maybe get some information. So, said, "Hey Brock, I'm one of your longtime viewers, Mike from Ohio. Just wanted to ask you a question." No, Mike from Iowa. "Just wanted to ask you a question. I have a 4066R. Awesome tractor. It's got 70 hours on it. I have experienced cavitating when using the loader. Can you help me with any information? Thank you for your videos. You can call me." I've talked to Mike outside of the comments section. I put my phone number out there. Like if you got some information for me or you want to talk about something, my information's out there. I'm easily accessed through Messenger on Facebook too. So I like talking to people. And Mike, great guy. I talked to him on the phone, but I don't know how to answer his question. And if I called him, I still wouldn't know. So I thought, how can I help Mike? So I started doing Google searches on cavitating hydraulics. And you can have restriction, or you can have air in your lines, or maybe the pressure relief valve isn't relieving the pressure like it's supposed to. But I don't have the knowledge to answer Mike's question. I appreciate him watching my videos and asking if I can help. I'm not like annoyed by people asking me questions. But I thought maybe someone watching, or a few of you guys, could give Mike a list of things to look at on what might be causing the problem with his tractor. I have experienced cavitating when using the loader. I think that means jerky controls or non-responsive because of a hydraulic issue. And the questions would be, do you have third function, things like that, but I just don't know how to answer. Good Guys Guns LLC, nice job, love the video, love the comments. Todd Caskey, I've read one of yours already, you don't get on here twice. Paul Case Farms, personal friend, lives close to me, done a lot of videos with Paul. Paul Case has his own YouTube channel where he shows you how to make a skid loader heater out of a cardboard box. He says, yep, you're a tree-hugging wood butcher. Welcome to the club. If I'm a butcher, then he's a more of a butcher, because Paul's cut more trees this week than I've probably cut in my life. Projects with JW. About time to fix some popcorn and wait on the haters to blow up the comments section. Let's do it. Gene Williams. Already talked about you, Gene. He thinks the whitetail are going to like my salted stump. Honeydew Homestead. I don't know, man. All that salt's going to kill everything around here, including the bacteria. I don't see how all the salt is going to rot it as much as it will preserve it. Here's another example. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. It's okay. There's a difference between just saying, hey, I disagree with what you said, and calling someone an idiot and ranting. And Honeydew Homestead is one of my regulars. He doesn't think it'll work. We'll find out. And it's okay to disagree. Ronald Harmon. Someone gave us a fire ring years ago. We never used it, so now it works great for burning out stumps. I've done one stump burning video. I've burned other stumps before I started making videos. Takes a lot longer than people think, but you can do it. Stump Boss Bill. I almost swear if the chainsaw chain can even see dirt, it will dull instantly. Yep. William Finner. One of my several Bills that watch. Sometimes you have to use a smaller piece of equipment for a smaller job. Exactly right. Cowboy Steve. One of my favorites. See him on here every day. Always a discussion starter. Stump removal. Pretty cool. You'll be tracking the results. Looking forward to seeing how it goes. Patriot Allen. Thanks for the video. Tree stump removals are always a classic. G. Zeus. My X728 is a powerful multi-purpose lawnmower. Your 2038 is what I dream I can own if I can eventually buy 30 acres next to my house. That's the dream, man. It's, it took me 42 years to get a piece of dirt that I could play on. A bigger piece of dirt. And it's been the best thing I've ever done. I wish you all the best. James Basile. Basil. I don't know. I feel bad, man. I'm butchering everybody's name. That tractor does everything you need. There's nothing wrong with that. Yes, sir. Build a Lot Acres. I've talked to him on the phone. He's got a YouTube channel called Build a Lot Acres. Got a sawmill. One step ahead of me there. Great video, Brock. I love my little tractor. Nimble, good on fuel, very handy. Exactly right. You don't need a bulldozer to piddle around and cut firewood. Northeastern Dirt and Property Maintenance. We met because when I was building my Quonset hut, he had some of the best Quonset hut videos I could find. Probably the only ones who chirp negative comments are the guys who would love to have a compact tractor but don't. He has a long comment. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I appreciate you. Graham Shea. I appreciate you. I'm curious what the haters use to get their work done. Yeah. They probably just don't do it. Carl Degra. My Kubota MX 5200 is classified as a compact tractor, but with the loader attached, it feels quite big. Without the loader, it feels kind of compact. I sometimes wish I bought a smaller tractor. However, when I was in the market for a tractor in mid-2021, the only tractor I could find for sale was this MX. There was a time when it was hard to find machines, and I think they're all great. Fabbed Fun. Very long comment here. A lot of people have opinions with no experience to back it up, and they're just keyboard warriors. I'm not going to read the whole comment, but I appreciate your support. Fabbed Fun. Todd Caskey. I guess I'll read one more Todd comment. If you get a real tractor, I'll take your old one. Silly emoji. We'll see how it goes. Thank you, Todd. Control-Alt-Delete. Username. I really like the hydraulics on the box blade. It's so useful, I'm a bit jealous. Very handy. Cowboy Steve again. Mallard 5 Farmhouse. Another YouTube channel that I talk to outside of the comments section. I know we've talked about it before, but LS Dealer Network has come a long way. He's an LS guy. He's been running LS tractors forever. You can check out Mallard 5 Farmhouse. Here's another YouTube channel you might check out. Aaron Turnwald. He's just started, but he's got a 2038R and he's got a Woodland Mills sawmill. I believe it's the 130. I'm now starting to get negative comments too, Brock. Some of them just seem like they have nothing to do but spread negativity. I watch Aaron, I'm like, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. And then I read his comments and everyone's telling him he doesn't know what he's doing. So either both of us are stupid or maybe they're just negative. David Walworth. This is a great overview of the possibilities available for anyone wondering what these machines are capable of. That's David Walworth is Waldo, who one-upped me with his fancy tractor. Well, he's one heck of a guy. So generous with his time, and he sent his Logosaw sawmill here for me to play with. Don Alexander. Those tractor snobs would look pretty silly trying to do what you do with their 9R quad tracks. Don is an example. I made my stump salting video because of Don. He watched a video of mine 6 months ago where I talked about wanting to turn that field into a usable pasture, and he commented on my stump grinding video. He said, well, you might hit that stump with a ground engaging implement. I said, you're darn right. I should find a way to deal with that. I made that video because of Don's comment. I do that a lot. Make a video because of a comment. Mark Ziegler, great video. I've been watching your videos for a long time. I think a 3R would have been a better fit for what you're doing. Possibly. 3Rs are tempting. Wow. So this video is probably really long, and I'm not even halfway through these comments. I'm just going to have to do this again. So I think it's a lot of fun. The main thing I think is there's nothing in the world I'd rather be doing than what I'm doing. And I couldn't do it if it wasn't for you guys. So I appreciate it when you watch the videos and when you put a thumbs up and when you leave a comment and you tell me I'm doing it wrong or you tell me I'm doing it right or just put a thumbs up on there. I appreciate it. And tomorrow's video, or one of the next videos I do, I've got some new toys for sanding paint and rust off of this Haywagon. And we're going to do a comparison between a couple of different ways to remove all this rust. So, should be a lot of fun. Appreciate you taking time to watch. Put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos. And I'll see you next time.